What's going on? This is Creative Journey, everybody. That's your host, AB Wright. I'm your co-host, Wolf Howard, and we are going all natural today because this is on a fucking MacBook microphone and camera, and you can judge for yourself if you like how we sound. Well, AB's all professional. He's just trying to make me look bad today.
That is not the case. Welcome, everyone. Yes, we are here, and we're just going in, like you said, impromptu. Nothing really coordinated today in terms of topics. We just want to, at least my mindset coming in today was just figuring out how to just share what's been going on. And part of this journey is honestly just trying to find your way. And this week has been just one of those weeks where just been trying to find my way. And I know Wolf is, you've got some moving parts. We've got some information and stuff from an episode that we're still working the kinks out of, trying to get that to you. And in that, it just made me realize that we have so much going on. That is it a good thing that we have so much going on at one time? Should we be really focusing in on one or two things? Like when do we realize we've got too much going on and we've got to reel back in the more important priorities?
On Wednesday.
And I feel like you're doing that. What's going on with your life?
I'm fucking lost, bro. I'm in exactly the same spot. I got way too much happening. I don't even know what I do anymore. If somebody asked me, what do you do right now? I'd be like, hire me. We'll find out. I don't fucking... I got way too much going on, man. I'm exactly there with you. I have no clue.
Oh, jeez. It's terrible because you start in a place where you have a thing that you want to do, and then along this path, you realize, you don't know exactly everything about the thing you're learning. So you start learning more things about it. And in groups and meeting people and talking to people, you start finding out more about yourself, find out more about your abilities that you really didn't realize you had, especially when you see it in other people is one thing. Then it's another thing when they see it in you, and it's like, I don't quite see what you're talking about, but it's there. And then those moments happen when it comes to light that actually you do possess this thing. You've been doing it the whole time. You just been doing it in other forms, or you've been doing it in other industries, but you've been doing the exact same thing the whole time. Have you?
Going to church
what's that?
Early, huh?
What's that for you? What's that?
What?
Would you say going to church early?
We're going to church a day early. It sounds like getting that Saturday sermon because that's preach. What are we talking about? What's the question? I'm sorry.
Well, I don't even think I posed a question other than just highlighting the fact that we have these things that are in us.
Yeah.
That are honestly spiritual gifts. They're talents that we are figuring out, and it's been there the whole time. We've been doing it the whole time for other people, but for some reason we just never realized it was there until someone highlights it. And that's what I've been experiencing for a while now, but it really came to a head this week for me. And you were a part of that, but I don't want to go into that just yet. I want to just know, is that something that you deal with too?
Yeah, no, 100%. And I guess it's hard for me to answer the question. Like, people keep on telling me, oh, you're so good at this thing. And it's one of the things that I've always had kind of a chip on my shoulder about, So it's like they tell me I'm a good listener, and it's like, I believe you, but that's something I've been working on for many years. So now I'm seeing the fruits of the labor, I guess. Or people will be like, you take complicated things and make it easy. And I just think, like, I always think I make them more complicated. But apparently when I repeat it back when I get it out of my head, it actually simplifies for other folks. So yeah, there are a few things that have come up in the last year where people say like, well, you're very good with this, and I'm thinking like, okay, if you say so. And then you hear it from a few different people, and it's like, okay, I guess I just have not the self-awareness that I need on this topic, and I need to figure out how to take this out of my head and put it somewhere else so that I can maximize my potential. It's funny.
It's because it's so natural. That's it. You do it so naturally.
It's true. It's true. It's true. I'm noticing this thing about, I don't know what to call this group I'm creating in my head. I guess I would call them like motivated Christians.
Okay.
It's like this language around.
We're always motivated.
Well, not everyone of any group is always motivated, but there's this language that I heard from another gentleman, Jason Thomas, and from my cousin Kelly, where people will say things like following your calling, or something I'm spiritually called to do, or listening to the gifts I've been granted, sort of thing. And like, who am I to not maximize the gifts that I've been blessed with by God, right? And I just find that so fascinating because it takes all of the thinking out of it, and it's just like, what are the talents I have and how do I apply them to the world today? No framework, no here's the 5 steps to becoming a public speaker type shit. It's like, can you speak? Then go out and speak and embody the gifts you've been given, and that's your contribution to society. I just find that such a fascinating, I love that. Love that.
I need to have, I'm going to start keeping my Bible up here, because I actually had it up here most of the week, and I like to go to the tabs and things I have saved in there, because my gifts is the thing that I've been tapping into in terms of definition. And I believe it's in First Corinthians 13 chapter, 14 chapter, that talks about your spiritual gifts. And in what I was reading, it talks about prophesying, having knowledge, sharing wisdom, I believe sharing resources or giving to people. And there's a few things that it talked about specifically. And within the definition of the gifts, it's using, from what I understand, is using the talents to do just that. So if we take Creative Journey, for instance, it's the gift of having wisdom and real world experience, or wisdom from real world experience, because that's exactly what wisdom is, and sharing that to help people on their journey use use their talents, but identify with what the gift is so that they can really go all in and use the gift. So that's what I have been doing in figuring out what is my gift and what are my talents, because I feel like they're actually two different things. But in using the talent and using the gift, putting those together, now you're carrying out the mission and the vision God has given you. So that has been what I have been reading and trying to figure out in the last few weeks. And that's what I gathered from the reading in the scripture just really this week.
So let me try and make sure I'm following. So for example, this gentleman I was talking to, Jason, he was saying, I love the creative everything, right? I do video, I do photo, I do audio. I can go and shoot an entire series for somebody. I can take it back, I can edit it, I can put it all together, do the marketing, branding, slap it up. It's fantastic. But what was I supposed to be doing? Was the way he phrased it, right? As in, like, where was my time actually supposed to be spent when I was taking all of my creative talents and just applying them because I could? Or as another example, perhaps I have talents with data and processing code and debugging things, but that doesn't necessarily align with my gifts of linguistics and being able to connect people. Is this kind of an example of how you're thinking through this? I'm
gonna definitely say yes. I'm trying to pinpoint where within that. So if we just use the videography portion,
Yeah.
it could just be the relationships with the people
Mm-hmm.
and conversations. And I think about my time spent in the military, corporate America, playing sports, just the interactions with people, even in school, the interactions and people, and taking the opportunity to share my wisdom when when it presented itself. And I feel like in those moments, whatever the talents were that led to that, let's just say sports, let's say college and coaching, the opportunity really was to impart some wisdom on their journey using their talent in the discovery of their own gift. So it wasn't so much about the talent in the moment. It's just the talent was the bridge to the opportunity to share the wisdom.
Yeah. I see what you're saying. It's a fascinating concept.
It is. It definitely is.
And it takes some weight off of you, right? Because, like, I don't know, you can't set a KPI for that, you know?
No.
There's no business metric that you're going to be hitting. It's just like you showed up today and you were called to do this thing because the opportunity is here and you have something that you can give back, and however you got there is irrelevant. It's what you do with the opportunity that's the measure. And it's not even really a measure, but
I mean, that's just I think that's just what occurs.
Yeah.
And I feel for me in filmmaking, it is my intention to share the story in a manner that there is an experience, there is a moment of clarity, and a moment of understanding that there was an obstacle to get through, and here's where we are on the other side, and here's what was learned from the beginning of that, within the conflict and the transition and the outcome.
This goes back to that. Like, now I'm thinking of, there are many things in life that are purely transactional, right? But everything that's truly value goes above transaction, you know? So, like, I'm tempted to say, at the end of the day, human connection is everything. And so many aspects of business have nothing to do with human connection. But if you are able to bring a level of human connection to any business, any entrepreneurial endeavor, you will almost certainly outlast the ones who are purely transactional, because transactional can be stolen, relationships can never be replicated.
Correct.
And that's
I agree with that.
Yeah, right, because you're saying the emotional connection. I was speaking to another gentleman. I had this concept around doing team building through food, right? So it's like,
Okay.
taking people in an office setting that aren't or they're silos, they're having trouble working together, there are all these issues, maybe they're just not connected with their business, and throwing them into like an Iron Chef type competition, but where you swap all the roles. So like the executive has to be the sous chef and the associate becomes the chef. And this gentleman has his own concept that he's been working on for the last 2 years, and I'm not going to share his formula or anything, but he was talking about I didn't know what I was doing, but I wanted to create a certain feeling, and I followed that feeling I wanted to create, and through trial and error, I have come to this process that I'm using that's working really well. And he didn't start with any business plan. He didn't start with any clear concept of what he was doing. He just said, I want to evoke this feeling through food and connection. And he started exploring it. And like you're saying with your videography, it's like you want to create an emotional connection between the story and the person watching. And that's just, you can't really, we have to sell it, because if you're going to make a living, you have to sell it, right? But it transcends transactional value. It's, after a certain point, you can't put a dollar amount on it. So you're just charging something. And what really comes out of it, if it's done right, is priceless, eternally lodged in your memory as something that connects with you and helps you look at the world differently.
Right. And I'll be honest, I'm looking to not really have to charge anything. I want to take my ability to fill a gap, fill a need, solve a problem, generate revenue from that, and I just feed that capital into filmmaking and just share it. Just use a medium that I've developed or used that's available right now, and just share that, and then just direct the traffic to go see it. So on the backside of what you were saying, I'm not even trying to capitalize financially off of that. I find it more important to get the message out. And if you're willing to spend time watching it and getting the message, then it's going to get to the persons that it needs to get to. So I don't even want to have to monetize that. I just want to get it out.
Right on. Well, yeah, let's get into it, because I'm over here in wishy-washy theoretical world. Where's the part that you're struggling trying to figure out where you're going?
Well, here comes the money making part.
Yeah, okay, that's what I
so
thought.
you did say fill. I mean, I did say filling the gap. And you talked about a few moments ago about your gifts and your abilities to align, to see things and align things, and you did that for me this week. The conversation about what was a greenlit project, the documentary, or the pieces of the documentary based on a greenlit TV show that wasn't contractually greenlit. So in sharing that information with you and the reasons why it wasn't that, you immediately was like, bro, you need to be talking to Phyllis. You need to connect with her. She needs to take care of this issue, and then you go from there. And like, no joke, in our group call, in which, you know, you had to jump off a little bit later, so we finished off the call, setting up, you know, what I needed to do to financially carry this process through. And this process is to help him do the thing that he's wanting to do, but because of the way he is, you know, he's a giver. And oftentimes givers will not want to, they just absolutely don't want to feel like they're taking advantage of you financially. So I don't want to charge you much. Just pay me something and I'm still going to do. But at the end of the day, what's being paid doesn't even cover anything that really allows for a giver to do and really make the impact that they want to make. So it takes for someone that is business savvy to say, okay, you do the thing that you do that's going to make the impact. Let me worry about generating revenue.
Yep.
Because obviously you're not going to be able to do both, and people are going to see that, and knowingly or unknowingly, they're going to take advantage of that, which in the end is detrimental to you taking care of your community, you taking care of the kids, you taking care of all these projects that you want to take care of that you can't. So in your seeing that, you highlighted something I've been doing all my life. I've been finding the things, the small things that makes a huge change in somebody else's ability to do what it is that they're trying to do. And that's just things I've been doing for free. And it's not so much about the free part, but I'm sorry, I didn't mean to say for free. It's just something I've been doing organically, naturally, just in conversations, been advising people and solving people's problems just in 30 minutes of talking. It's like I'm able to hear that one thing and pinpoint the solution for that. And I did that. I have 3 specific times I did that in the last 6 months. One was a full 10 to 12 year plan on obtaining real estate, commercial real estate, and that transcending into a whole conglomerate of a brand 10 years down the road. I did that in like an hour.
Mm-hmm.
Another one was, just another videographer trying to really figure out what he should be charging. And he really didn't have the equipment. He didn't have the staffing. And for what they were going to pay him, it was like, bro, that's just gas. For 3 days worth of work. No, you should be charging, for me, I'd be charging at minimum this amount of money. So, and that changed for him. And he, boldly asked for that amount. And now he's just waiting on them to confirm, is it a no or go? But you lose nothing to understand your skill set and your gifts and talents and be paid for that. That's what we're supposed to be rewarded for the value that we bring to you or to people.
Yeah.
And, but yeah, those were like 2 of the 3, but either way, just in organic conversations, that's just what I was able to do. And you helped me really see that and line that up this week.
So the challenge for you now is you've been plotting this course of how you're going to make money doing video editing, staying in your videography lane, but you're seeing that you have this other gift that can be really valuable to people, which is the ability to help them step back and strategize about what they're trying to do and lay out some concrete action plans to get them moving in the way they want to go, which somewhere in the line of advisor/consultant more so than a video editor with really good business and financial sense, right?
Right.
Yeah.
Because the end game for me is I want to make films. That's what I'm going to do. I'm going to make films. And the whole game plan has been funding it, independently funding it. And of course, if there's investors or things that come along later, of course, we'll figure that out. But in the meantime, I'm going to invest into it. So, but yeah, that's, without talking in circles, yes.
Yeah, and then we come to the crucial crossroads of what are you and what do you do, and then you gotta, because you can't sell video editing and advisory consulting and documentary filmmaking and car video shoots. Is that kind of
right?
Yeah.
Because that's that. At the end of the day, you think about all the things you were doing, and then you see this lane that you can get in, and really be of service and of value. Then it makes you have to sit back and say, as we talked about earlier, we have all these things going. Now what do you do? You have to make a decision, because as you highlighted, you can't do all of them, because you just can't do all of them. They all require a certain level of dedication and concentration in that lane. So what do you do?
Yeah, at least until you have it off the ground and the wheels are running smoothly, right? Once you got it tuned up, you can let it run on its own to an extent, but getting that lift off is crucial, and usually takes longer than we think it will.
Right. And I'll say what decision I've come to, because I have come to a decision, is that I feel led to help. I feel led to help. There are people, there's some kids that he wants to reach with the classes and the things that he wants to provide in the community, the fundraisers and things that he wants to do in the community. Then, I feel God has led me to act on that. I have resources. I have financial resources where I can invest into making that happen, to invest in the people that can help make that happen. So for me, I put aside the talent that I know I have. That's not going anywhere. Again, I can hire a videographer. I can hire a production team to help with the film production process along the way. But the ultimate and the priority right now is I've got to get this guy going. I've got to step in and stop people from taking advantage of him. And again, knowingly and unknowingly, because I'm not going to sugarcoat and say people are not knowingly doing it. Trust me, they are. They are. And for those that are doing that, shame on them. But I'm tired of seeing him struggle and try to make ends meet and try to show to his wife that, hey, this thing is going to work. When at the end of the day, I feel, to be honest, she's probably seeing this and just like, man, how you going to make this work? You can't. You can't do this by not charging enough. You can't do this by just giving your time away.
Yeah.
It's there's valor in there, in that somewhere at some level, but let's free up that opportunity for her to finally see it come into fruition too. It's more than just him. It's more than just the kids. It's his family, man.
Yeah. Yeah.
So I'm sure they want to see him. I know they want to see him be who they know he can be. I just want to help him get out of his own way. And that's what I feel led to do. And that's where I'm going to put my energy. If he lets me do it, that's what I'm going to do. And if he decides not to, then that's fine too. But that's my answer to what I'm going to do.
Yeah. And what does that change about everything else you've been putting in place working on? Does it feel like you've wasted a bunch of time following the wrong path, or are you just thinking we'll put this to the side and pick it up when we need to? Like, how do you compartmentalize all this time you spent on building out this vision? Just like put that away and say, all right, here's where we are right now.
Well, if I wasn't chasing my dream per se, if I wasn't chasing that vision, I could not have begin to add to the skill sets that I need and the mindset that I need to even help him out.
Yeah.
Because doing all this was a process of learning, and there's that wisdom part again. Through all of this is the things I learned in business. So I have that wisdom now because I made my own mistakes. And I've faced my own challenges. So I can't help him if I didn't do that already. So by no means has that been a waste of time. All of that has helped me to be in a position to even see it. I wouldn't see it if I hadn't been in it.
Yeah.
So it's not a waste. Again, it's on hold. It's not terminated. There's a I'm trying to remember who it was. Oh man, if I can remember his name. Oh, he's a pastor of a church, I want to say in Oklahoma. And he's a music artist. I saw him I watched him on a podcast recently, In the Basement, with Tim Ross. And I saw this episode, and he talked about how he was in music. He was led by God to put that on hold to become the pastor that he needed to become. And years later, after doing what he needed to do to lead as a pastor, God presented the opportunity for him to make music again. And when he put that music out, he was in the top 100 for this song. And I can't remember what year this was, but it allowed for him to get back into music and create music again. But he put the music on hold. Now, I don't know if he knew in that moment that he was putting it on hold. He may have thought he was putting it down for good. I don't know. I don't remember that part of the conversation.
Yeah.
But just because you put things down and put it aside does not mean it's gone for good. It's just that this pivotal point in your journey is where you have to put the focus on now. That's just what it is. It's time to step away from it. This had a season. Everything has a season. This thing had a season. We're going to step away from that and we're going to focus on the next thing, because that's just what's been presented to you. And oftentimes we run from that, or we omit to really pay attention to that, and we stay in that thing. I honestly think I did that for baseball. I think I stayed attracted to baseball so long that I may have missed, I don't know, I may have missed opportunities to pivot. I can't, I'd have to really take a deep dive and look at that. But I feel like at the end of the day, I may have held on to what I thought was supposed to be baseball for a lot longer than it should have been. There was a pivot that should have happened. And that finally happened by way of 2020. When it was just like, okay, you're not going to pivot on your own. Let me just end it, period, and make you pivot. And now let's get you going in the direction to lead you toward the next door opening.
Yeah. A couple things jump to mind there, because for one thing, I do wonder if you almost have to assume you will never come back to the thing to properly let it go, depending on the level of passion and concern you have for it, right? Like, for me, I'm thinking of music. I have a bunch of music gear all around my apartment. I was always a mediocre musician and like to make like instrumentals and just record songs. I naturally hear music when I'm walking around. If nothing else is going in my head, I just hear rhythms, beats, bass lines, all that sort of stuff. And I haven't made a song since I started this entrepreneurial journey, right? And that's not... When I first left my last job, I thought maybe I'll give myself a month to just write and record an album, and that's it, and I'm done, and I can move on. And I didn't do that. One of the reasons I was always mediocre is I did not consistently apply myself to music. Separate story. That being said, once I got into this, I didn't think, well, that's not true. Sometimes I think like maybe I should go back to it. This last week, so if we never record the lost episode of number 2, now we have 2 lost episodes. If we never recover lost episode number 2, in that I mentioned that I am potentially going back into a full-time 9-to-5 job. The role is senior project manager at a startup. I like the team. I like the business. The role is cool. I think it has potential to give me a lot of skills that will help me excel in what I'm trying to do now, just further down the line. But over the last week, I've been waiting for a reply to know if I'm actually going to get this job. That has been fucking with my mind really badly. Because like now I'm back into that place where it's like, are you going to accept me? Whereas when I'm doing my own thing, all I'm doing is building a business case. I'm not waiting for somebody to validate. Like there's a difference in mentality between, is this team going to hire me? And can I convince this person to buy my services? Because like there's just completely separate, for whatever reason in my head.
They are
completely separate emotional, mental state. So I'm sitting here for the last week, and I didn't know exactly when I would hear back from them. And the longer it went without hearing from them, I was thinking, oh man, I didn't get it. And it went from, let me just see if I can have this opportunity, to why didn't I get it? What's wrong with me? Did I fuck up that interview? What did I do wrong here? Like, is this even the right thing? And in this last week, I felt compelled to pick up a guitar again, write music again, because like I need some outlet, I guess. I need some emotional expression. But I'm no longer holding on to the idea that one day I will be a producer of some kind, right? And it's almost like if I let that potential exist in my mind, I will never be able to go all the way in on the other things I need to do, because it just sits there in the back of my head, and I'm always going to be dedicating just like too much time to things that are not adding to the path I'm supposed to be walking right now. or I'm not compartmentalizing it as a mode of expression versus oh man, can I be the next Bonobo, who's a music producer for those who don't know. He's fantastic. If you Banbro Kirogota, I forget the name of the song. Look up Bonobo. Crazy instrumentals, amazing musician.
I'm going to look that up now.
That whole rant, just to say, I do wonder if when you're making these split road decisions, if it's not better just to say, I will never return to that path and act as if it's gone forever. And if the opportunity comes back, great. But you can't like say, I'm going to put this on hold, but I'll play with it, but I'll keep walking this way. What about? And then like you never actually walk you keep on stopping and looking back at where you're supposed to be. You know what I mean?
Ooh, that's a good question because I've been doing that. That's actually that's been happening to the point. I'm going to share one aspect. You remind me of Tim Ross when you say that because he makes mention of he was in the music industry as well athlete at first, in the music industry, and then a pastor of a church, and now doing his In the Basement podcast. Mm-hmm. And what he shared was that everything he did at a high level. So, and I heard a little bit of a difference between, when you're doing stuff and it's just you haven't given it your all to it is one thing. I think maybe it's a little bit easier to let go of because you weren't really all in, but at the same time, it's in the back of your mind that you never was all in. And maybe if I do give it some time, then I can be successful with that. So that's still lingering. Then there's the moment where you have given all in. And I feel I did that with baseball. I feel like I did give it what I could give it as an instructor. I don't feel like I gave it all that I could as a player, but that is long past me now. My mental toughness wasn't to the point that I could do it. And if I would have been mentally tough the way I am now, then I feel like I would have given myself a chance to continue to pursue it. So not having done it now, I'm okay. That's long gone. I'm just going to use, I'll use my mentality now when I play men's league baseball and just go out to dominate there and see if I can use that as some kind of impact in the community for whatever reason, if I can, or if it's just, hey, I did what I did. It was great exercise and camaraderie, whatever that is. And maybe, again, that translates to some conversation with one of the players. I don't know. But in terms of what Tim Ross shared, he just shared that he always gave it his all. He went hard at whatever it is, but when it was time to pivot, he left it alone. He never looked back at whatever that was. He moved on to the next chapter. And it's as if he said, I never put it down to think that it would come back. It was temporary. Same thing with the other pastor that he was interviewing, which is his cousin, actually. I don't think I heard him say he put it down temporarily, hoping it would come back. I feel like he said he put it down, didn't think about it, and then just God presented the opportunity again. Now he could use it and really excel. That's what I feel like I heard. And in this, with my experience, I've been experiencing this thing where I started this journey with my automotive YouTube channel. And as YouTubers, we want to get the channel monetized so we can get generate ad revenue, which there's a whole dynamic to how much money you really can make from that. I've been grateful. I don't even know the word I'm looking for. I've been fortunate. That's what I'm looking for. I've been fortunate to have used business principles in the beginning to generate revenue with the channel by way of affiliate marketing because of my DIYs and things like that I've shared tools and products and that kind of stuff. So fortunately, it has generated some revenue and continues to. But there's that milestone of getting it to be monetized. And it's actually, like, as we speak, I'm just going to pull it up right now. As we speak, and we're almost 5 years into this channel now. No, more over 5 years into the channel. That just lets you know how long sometimes it takes to get monetized. 4,000 public watch hours. I'm at 3,994
dollars.
Public watch hours.
Oh, okay.
Subscribers. It needed 1,000 minimum. Mm-hmm. I've hit the 1,000 some time back. We're now at 1,488. So we're
these are the metrics for YouTube to allow you to monetize.
Right, to become a partner with YouTube to generate revenue. Yeah. I'm sorry if I wasn't clear. But yeah, that's the metric. So we're almost there. So here's the part. The key to that is I never put it down to really focus on the other thing because I kept going back to well, I still need to make content for this. I still need to do this. I still need to. So I never went all in, even right now with Creative Journey, because I've still been making content for the YouTube channel. And what that has done to inhibit the content for us even is instead of just focusing in on making reels and really figuring out the software and stuff for this, I've been still creating content and scheduling content for that. And until I make the decision to stop doing that, this won't fully become what it should become and can become. Yeah. Because I'll be honest, upon giving the opportunity to work with my client, I'm definitely not going to be able to shuffle all three. I'm only going to be able to do realistically two things: manage him and shoot these podcasts and spend time creating the content for the podcast. That is it. So if I am not cognizant to let go of Your Auto Enthusiast and let it do its thing, I'll continue to perpetuate that cycle of holding on to what was.
Yeah.
Interesting, right?
Yeah, man. All in, that's my bullshit. All in is a scary concept, right? Because it's like you say no to more things than you say yes to when you go all in. And that's true anytime you say yes, right? If you think of choice theory, I'm going to try and go not too nerdy, but anytime you say yes to one thing, you say no to every single other possible thing you could have been doing in that moment, because there's only one of you. So if you decide to have coffee right now, you said no to water, pizza, everything. So it's like, if you make a conscious decision to go all in on one thing of just high value, you have to let go of the idea that all these other high value items just can't be. I don't know, man. I don't know. How do you? It takes a certain level of, maybe confidence is the word, to be able to even say, all these other high value potentials, they're not high enough value because this is the one I want to do right now.
Right.
And maybe that's what I'm missing. Because like, even now, I'm thinking after all this conversation, would I even be looking at getting a full-time job if I had gone all in on the first thing I said I was going to do and just stuck with it instead of trying to shift it every time I saw something I didn't like about what it was I was doing? Because I've been, instead of taking a stair-step path, I've been doing stair-step, jump sideways, like all these lateral movements. I'm not going up. I'm going just back and forth, right in the same fucking spot, not getting any traction, to the point where I've confused myself so much that I feel I would confuse anyone else to tell them what I'm actually doing and to just solidify and stay in the lane. And I've just never been good at going all in because I just don't have that confidence to say, oh,
Do you think?
This software is boo boo, man. Your camera went away.
Well, I'm here. It's not here.
All right, it's not here for me, but that's fine. We can keep going.
I see it. It better be here. You better be here.
That's all right. Keep going. What are you going to say?
I was going to say, have you thought about whether, have you thought about the factors that has enabled you to get off the stairs and make lateral jumps? And I'll say that mainly because what comes to my mind is watching a host of social media content from more than 1 to 2 specific people.
Mm-hmm.
Because what I had to reel in was the things that were shifting me back and forth to my car content, to this content, to even the idea of becoming a coach, which is not what I even want to do, is that I'm listening to too many people. Like I would not shut off the social media and take that hiatus from it so that I could listen to my own thoughts, I could listen to my Holy Spirit, and just be led toward the thing that I know is the right thing to be doing right now.
Yeah.
Has that been something for you?
On that. No, 100%. I've been thinking about that for the last few weeks. It's like mentors are great, but if you have too many, you're just giving yourself schizophrenia, right? Because the concept of a mentor, you can't take advice from 5 different people because you're going to get 5 different directions, even though they might sound similar. It's like you get the Apple Maps instructions and the Google Maps instructions, and you try to follow both directions at the same time. It's just not fucking possible. So it's like, I actually deleted Instagram and LinkedIn off my phone last night because I realized I keep on going in here and just getting distracted. It's a pure distraction. And so now I've been picking up my phone to do my usual tapping and scrolling, and then nothing is there. And it's like I short circuited my brain, and I'm like, oh, that's right. I was going here to not focus on anything. It creates that separation and that awareness.
Yeah.
Oh, shoot. I just picked my phone up so I don't have to think. Wow, maybe I should go back to thinking. Oh, shoot. I just picked my phone up so I can sit in this chair and not do what I need to be doing. Maybe I should get back to what I had in front of me, But no, 100% that you get. I've also been thinking I want to just take all my followers off any account. And if I'm going to have the account, I literally just go on to post and I put it away. I don't get anybody else's shit on there. I don't want any more inspiration. Like, I think I've, in the last 2 months, had enough of everybody giving me advice. Every time I see a carousel now, I just keep going because it's like, this is how you do branding. I don't give fine. You tell the world how you do branding. There's too much information in the world. I agree.
Yeah. I'm definitely in that place. I just told my wife a couple of nights ago after presenting my offer to my potential client, at least for this service, for managing. I said, you know what? I got to get off social media because I will not have time and will want to have time to looking at anything else. I strictly have to focus on what he needs and sharing the wisdom and knowledge I have through Creative Journey. That's it. That's all I have time for. And I'll say this to you. I actually had reached out about volunteering for Night Owl Nation. And I'm not sure, because I did speak with Tab, and I understand what's required and things like that. And that came the day of, in fact, that was the call right before our meeting. And based on that, I was like, okay, this is probably a great opportunity, especially being that Night Owl Nation is in its infancy. Well, I won't even say infancy. It's in its earlier stages.
For sure. I think they just crossed a year.
Yeah. So I was like, this would be great to be a part of that and provide some value. And I haven't quite said no just yet, but in again realizing what I'm saying now, even that I may not be able to do what I think I can do because I again have to be all in.
Yeah.
On this thing and trying to lead a group alongside of leading him may be asking of myself too much. So that's a serious decision to make.
Yeah, man.
And I owe it to him and his family and the kids in his community and just people in his community. I owe it to all of them to give everything I've got to the thing that I said I would do.
Yeah.
Because it's bigger than me. All of this has been bigger than me anyway, but to take on the responsibility of helping someone advance their brand and advance their vision, you owe it to them to give 120%.
Yeah, man.
So, yeah, that's today's conversation, man. That's the reality of this journey. It's not roses and rainbows and parties and trips and and all of that stuff, man. People be selling you hopes and dreams, and it's not even about that. The mission and the vision is so much greater than the financial reward. It's far exceeds that when you really pay attention to what it is that you're trying to do.
Yeah. Yeah, man. It's a good moment of reflection. No, it's good. It's good. At the start of this week, I scheduled out my week and I created times for all the important things to do. And by the time I got to Wednesday, I had burnt myself out so quickly trying to do so much. And then I'm looking at the last 2 days thinking none of these things are high value items, but they're still taking up mental space. They're going to take up physical time. And like these are just me doing explorations or things for other people or just holding on to stuff just because it's there. And through this conversation, it's very clear that you can't be everything to everyone. You can only be everything to yourself, right? And if you're trying to do something meaningful, that self has to be hyper-focused. And that's the only way you can be as valuable as you should be to other people. Otherwise, you're just splitting it.
Right. That's correct.
Yeah.
Well, I know what I need to do based on what I said just a couple of nights ago. Getting off social media. And I am the ones that I've been communicating with. I said I would DM and just, if you're stateside, you'll have my number. And otherwise, you'll have my email if you need me. But I'm off for a while. I don't know how long a while is, but I've got work to do.
Yeah.
I've got work to do. And other than using, for the most part, I probably won't even use the native app to upload reels. I'm going to go through Creator Studio.
Yeah, separation. That's smart.
Yep. Go through Creator Studio and I upload the reels. The good thing about uploading shorts to YouTube is I don't have to see a thing. I can go right in the app, +, upload shorts, upload it, I'm done. Come right on out of it. So that's the good part about that. And automotive YouTube, it's going to do its thing. And when it hits the threshold, like I said, what is it, like, what I say, 4 more public watch hours?
Yeah.
I get to apply, and upon them reviewing and saying you're good to go, which based on the content I have put there should not have I have no strikes or anything like that ever. So I should be good to go. And then I'll just let it do its thing. I set everything up to be monetized. I'll let it do its thing, and I'll leave it be.
Cashing on that $200 a year YouTube feels so nice to grant you. No,
hey,
I'm kidding.
Anything that I'll put it like this: anything from that will help push the mission forward. It's doing its thing. So I'm grateful for that.
I wonder if you could. Never mind. I'm going to hold on to that thought. Your conviction is inspiring, my friend. I appreciate seeing you make these decisions live and in person, because it gives me a little bit more clarity on what I have to do and wrestle with in order to get back onto a path where I don't feel torn into 5 different directions. You know what I mean? So this has been a great conversation. I really appreciate this. I hope it's inspirational for somebody else, because that conviction it's different. Not everybody has that, but everybody can have that once you get clear on where you're supposed to be going and what you need to do.
Right. Yeah. Anytime, man. I'm definitely pushing for you and anyone else that's watching to find your clarity. You may just need to go back to the drawing board. You're already making steps. You've already executed steps to do that. So getting off of Instagram, LinkedIn, or anything else that you've been soaking up more information. Like you said a moment ago, we don't need any more inspiration. We've gotten all the inspiration that we will ever need.
Yeah.
We just need to really decide what's the most important thing and know that focusing in on that is going to direct us to where we need to be and meet the people we need to meet to make the impact and add value to their lives. That's it. That's it. We don't need any more influence from influencers and advisors and consultants and coaches and everything else. You know, we need to become whatever it is we need to become to do.
How come Instagram influencers are influencers, but then when it's a sports guy on a commercial, it's just an ad spot? They're not influencing shit. Influencers ain't. I'm sorry. I don't mean any offense to any proper influencers, but keep all of it. I'm done with that.
Uh-oh. Hit a sore spot.
That's fucking influencers. Ooh, if we put our product in front of them, they will influence people to buy it. That is not an influencer. That's not somebody who's leading people to a higher place. That's somebody who's leading you to spend your money on something that you don't know. Never mind. We'll save it. This has been a great conversation. I love the positivity. I'm going to go stash all that and put it somewhere else. I don't know where it's going, but...
Oh, the rant.
Fucking influencers.
The rant. Oh, man.
I'm sorry.
I guess.
I'm sorry.
I feel you. Well, it's no different than hearing... not that someone that is under 21 years old can provide life information and consider themselves a life coach.
Yeah.
I just don't know how much. I don't know how much of it you can share, but there are definitely people that have experienced life and they have grown up fast. So there are definitely people that are able to share their life experiences and the impacts of what has happened with them in such a short period of time that some of us have not experienced in 50 years on this earth. So can't quite take away from that just because of the age. We don't know. I only say that because I had somebody bring that up to me. I had my good friend bring that up to me yesterday in conversation. That's something that gets under his skin, but me just on the outside looking in, I think about some of the stories I've heard from people that have had life-changing moments at the age of 7 and 8 and have to be the adult in the house and do all these different things through the age of 25. That's some stuff I didn't do between the ages of me being 7 or 8 to 25. So you definitely got some experience that I don't have, and you'll be able to share your wisdom because of that. And there's again, I look back to the scripture. I want to say it's 2 Timothy, where it says, let no one look down on your youthfulness. I believe it's in Timothy. It could be a different chapter. But I mean, a different scripture entirely, but I believe it's 1 or 2 Timothy, because I remembered that when I was a kid. But let no one look down on your youthfulness, because you have knowledge and wisdom based on your own experience. So for those that fall into that, shout out to you, and keep pushing forward.
Love to the old souls.
That's right. That's right. Well, it's been a conversation, man. It's been a great conversation.
Yes,
Thank
sir.
you again for being a part of this creative journey movement, this podcast. And hey, I'm wishing you all the best. I hope we have provided something for you to take away today, some knowledge, some wisdom that you can use to get on your stairwell and go up the ladder, versus making a bunch of lateral moves that are deterring you from the mission, deterring you from staying on track with your vision. So we're wishing you the best on your creative journey, and in the meantime, you guys stay blessed, and we look forward to seeing you in the next episode. Take care. Salute.